In the realm of Tenebris, where the sun dipped into the horizon and painted the sky with hues of crimson and gold, the land was scarred by the battles of old. The kingdom of Eldrador, with its sprawling cities and verdant forests, stood as a testament to the power of its rulers. Yet, beneath the surface of this prosperous kingdom, a storm was brewing. The king, Araneth II, had grown old and frail. His once strong will had waned, and the reins of power were slowly slipping from his grasp. His advisors, a council of wise and aged men, urged him to name a successor, but the king hesitated. His two sons, Prince Riker and Prince Thorn, were as different as night and day. Riker, the elder, was a warrior, forged in the fires of battle and tempered by the blood of his enemies. Thorn, on the other hand, was a scholar, with a heart full of wonder and a mind full of curiosity. As the king's health began to decline, the court became divided. The nobles and knights rallied behind Riker, while the scholars and merchants supported Thorn. The prince's rivalry simmered, awaiting the spark that would set the kingdom ablaze. That spark came in the form of a dark sorceress, Lyria, who had been secretly manipulating events from the shadows. With her mastery of the dark arts, she had infiltrated the highest echelons of Eldrador's government and military. Lyria's ultimate goal was to exploit the kingdom's divisions and claim its throne for herself. One fateful night, as the king lay on his deathbed, Lyria made her move. She whispered in the king's ear, poisoning his mind against both his sons. Araneth II, convinced that one of them would usurp the throne, became paranoid and isolated. In his delirium, he saw visions of a great war, with his sons at the forefront, tearing the kingdom asunder. The king's advisors, realizing the gravity of the situation, tried to intervene. They pleaded with the princes to put aside their differences and work towards a peaceful resolution. But it was too late. Riker and Thorn had both gathered their loyalists and were preparing for war. The War of Crimson Return had begun. The first battle took place at the fields of Elgaroth, where Riker's army of knights and men-at-arms clashed with Thorn's forces of archers and mercenaries. The outcome was far from certain, as both sides fought with valor and determination. The fields ran red with the blood of the fallen, and the cries of the wounded echoed through the night. As the war raged on, Lyria continued to manipulate events from behind the scenes. She forged alliances with foreign kingdoms, providing them with dark magic in exchange for their aid. The war spread beyond Eldrador's borders, drawing in neighboring realms and igniting a firestorm that would consume the entire region. Thorn's forces employed cunning and strategy. Using guerrilla tactics to harass Riker's army, they launched surprise attacks, sabotaged supply lines, and sowed discord among the enemy's ranks. Riker's warriors, however, were relentless in their pursuit of victory. They laid siege to cities, stormed castles, and cut down anyone who stood in their way. The kingdom's people suffered greatly. Cities were reduced to rubble, crops were burned, and innocent civilians were caught in the crossfire. The war seemed endless, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. As the seasons passed, the land itself began to change. The skies grew darker, and the earth trembled with increasing frequency. The very fabric of reality seemed to be unraveling. Lyria's power grew, fueled by the bloodshed and chaos. In the midst of this carnage, a small band of heroes emerged. A group of warriors, mages, and rogues, each with their own motivations and secrets, banded together to put an end to the war. They saw the destruction, the suffering, and the darkness that had consumed the land. They knew that the War of Crimson Return had to be stopped, no matter the cost. The heroes infiltrated Lyria's stronghold, navigating treacherous traps and battling her minions. They reached the heart of the fortress, where Lyria herself awaited. The sorceress revealed her true intentions: to harness the power of the war, to resurrect an ancient deity, one who would grant her unimaginable power. The heroes fought valiantly, but Lyria's powers were formidable. Just as all seemed lost, the princes, Riker and Thorn, arrived at the stronghold. They had put aside their differences, realizing that the true enemy was not each other, but the darkness that threatened to